What up, y'all? It's your boy Rick, aka the People's Barber. Welcome to another edition of Flawless Fridays. So today we're going to be doing a regular fade on mixed hair. My client here is multicultural. He's half Hispanic, half black, so he's got different texture of hair. So today we're going to be doing a 1 on the sides, 2.5 on top. He likes to comb the hair to the side, etching in a hard part and a complete edge up all the way around. The tools we'll be using are Cordless Magic Clips, Wahl Detailers, Wahl Shaper Shaver, and finalizing it with my Flawless exposed blade. So let's get to it. Alright guys, so we're going to start with our number 1 guard closed lever on my Cordless Magic Clips. I'm going to get my guide all the way around, so let's get to it. I want to make sure I keep the guard on the scalp the entire time. Now that we've completed the guide with the number 1, we're going to do the 2.5 on top. Put my number 2 guard on, open my lever, making it a 2.5, cutting against the grain. Now that we've completed the 2.5 on top, we're going to start the blend. To complete the blend, I'm going to pop my number 1 guard back on, and I'm actually going to start with the open, meaning it's a 1.5 to start the blend right here. Making sure not to work past this area of the head because I want to complete the blend in what I like to call section 1, and then we'll work on section 2 and the opposite side of section 3. Keeping the blade open, doing a small C-like motion, like so. Now I'm going to grab my number 2 guard, close my lever, and continue the blend. The number 2 doesn't seem to be cutting much, so I'm going to grab my 1.5 guard, close my lever. Now I'll open my lever, still with the 1.5 guard. Now what I'm going to do is to perfect the blend is just open and close my lever like so, working in different areas to make the blend and the fade as flawless as possible. Using my little fade brush to remove all the excess hair. Put my number 1 guard back on, continuing to open and close my lever to perfect the blend. Now that the blend is complete in section 1, we'll move on to section 2. So for section 2, we're going to use the exact same steps we did in section 1. So make sure just to follow section 1 and check this out. And that completes section 2. Now let's move on to section 3. So now we'll start the blend on section 3. Once still using my Cordless Magic Clips, my number 1 guard, open my lever to start the blend. Now I'm gonna grab my 1.5 guard, close my lever, and continue the blend. Note, we did use the 1 guard open, now I'm using the 1.5 guard. The 1.5 guard is approximately 2 to 3 millimeters longer than as if I just had my number 1 guard open. Now, my number 2 guard, close my lever, continue the blend. Now that we've completed our steps, I want to start the buffering process. I'm going to come back to my number 1, open and close my lever to make the blend once again as flawless as possible. Doing the same process with my 1.5 guard, opening and closing my lever where I feel needed. Sometimes I miss out. I feel as if this area needs my number 1, so I'm popping it back on. There's no problem when you have to come back to a certain guide. I'm pretty satisfied with the way the blend's looking out. So now we'll start lining them up with my Wahl Detailers. Now we'll start with my Wahl Detailers to continue the outline. I always start in the nape area and then work forward. Now I'll work forward to back, meeting up right here at the top of the ear, using just the corner of my blade. Now let's do the same thing on the opposite side. Now we'll continue the outline on the opposite side, still using my Wahl Detailers. Now we'll continue, but from the front to meet up to the top, using just the corner of my blade. Alright guys, now we're going to start the edge up. When starting on edge up, no matter what the ethnicity, you always start in the center, meaning the nose, right above the nose. I personally hold my client's head and start in the center and then work to the side that I'm standing on. Now that I got this front done, I need the side and the sideburn area. Now we're going to start making the sideburns pointed. I start at the bottom and then work my way up to the point, arching this area. There's many ways to do this. This is just one of the ways I do it. Once I have my sideburns pointed, I'm going to use just the corner of my blade to get this nice arch. Now, the only thing that's left on this side is for us to connect this area with the bottom part of the point, cleaning up this area right here. Turning my trimmer sideways and pushing up to the hairline to make it nice and clean, making sure not to push into the hairline. Now let's get started on the other side. All right, now that we've completed the edge up on the left side, we're going to do the exact same thing on the right hand side, still using my Wahl Detailers. All right guys, now we can make this area, this sideburn area, pointed sideburns, arched, and then connect to the edge up here. Now that we've got the sideburns pointed and arched, the only last step we have is to connect the edge up. Now we're going to etch in the hard part with my Wahl Detailers, using them from back forward, turning my trimmer upside down so I can see what I'm actually doing versus like this. Making sure that hard line is nice and precise. The thickness is at your discretion and your client's preference. All right, now that we're completed with the haircut, I want to finalize by making the edge up nice and precise. Before using my Flawless Exposed razor, I'm going to use my Wahl Shaper Shaver to get it a little prepped for me. Going just up to the hairline, making sure not to go into the hairline. Doing the same thing on the opposite side. Now here's one thing of advice I could give you on ethnic hair. You could actually go with the grain to get all the flyaways, like so. All right, now we're going to use our Flawless Exposed razor to line up the entire hairline, stretching the skin. All right, guys, this concludes this week's Flawless Friday. Thanks for tuning in, and make sure to follow your boy on social media, Instagram @ThePeoplesBarber and Facebook, Rick the People's Barber. We out.